That's beautiful over here too.
Steve Plotner. He's traveling the world, but he's not leaving Tyler. He's sitting in his Radio Shack chatting with another ham radio operator.
It was blowing pretty good, and enough to wake me up, but I didn't hear anything crash.
Plotner belongs to the Tyler Amateur Radio Club. Ham radio is 50% hobby, 50% resource, and for most ham operators, it's 100% passion.
Ham operators kind of have, the people think they're kind of weird sometimes, and there is some of that. But for the vast majority of them, they're good people, and they're just, they want to help you, and they want to help the people around them.
You have to have a license to do it, and so you kind of got to be a little bit resourceful and have a little know-how. But overall, it's a lot of everybody, really. It's young, old, and in between.
Yeah, I heard on our net last night where we were supposed to have possibly 45-mile-an-hour gusts.
Ham radio operators are more than the old stereotype. They play an integral part of the National Weather Service's integrated warning team. They provide eyes on storms that high-tech radar sometimes can't see. Plotner, like other hams, has a radio station mounted outside his shack.
If you're involved, the weather is obviously something that the whole club gets involved in to help the community.
A lot of us have like weather stations that give us wind speed, wind direction, rain rates, things like that.
Ham operators can go mobile if needed, but it's not encouraged. Still, there is software out there to help a ham in an emergency.
Unless you had a lot of bad weather going on and you lost contact with somebody and their radio's not working, so maybe something's happened to them, if they were being tracked, you could find out where they're at and you could go help them out if that's what they needed.
In a typical Skywarn net, we'll have 3 people in control. We'll have one guy watching radar, we'll have one guy talking to the radio operators, and then another guy, which is usually me, who is the liaison to the National Weather Service via chat.
So what they do for us is they are basically our eyes and ears. They have all the ham gear that they can communicate with us and with each other if they see something like a tornado or wall cloud, funnel cloud, something like that.
We say we provide situational awareness.
And we train every Thursday evening of every week, every year. So we have a lot of training on the air, using our equipment to make sure it works.
This is the Upshur County Amateur Radio Association Club. The club invited me to speak in February. I found out ham operators aren't storm chasers, but play an important and vital role in a county such as Upshur, a physically large county with a relatively small tax base.
So we don't have a lot of infrastructure in the county to do that. The sheriff and fire departments are busy with a lot of other activities, especially during weather events. So we can pick up some of their slack and provide information to the Weather Service and also get it from the Weather Service to pass on to the county emergency management.
For instance, last year a tornado hit Upshur County and ham operators plotted the path of the damage as it happened.
I think that we were able to help get emergency services where it was needed sooner than it would have been otherwise.
Copy that. It's beautiful over here too. And I'll catch you a little bit later. KI5, OFN, W5, SBP.
Ham radio operators come from all walks of life and provide critical weather information, including the size of hail. And here in East Texas, we can get some pretty big hail. The newest member of our CBS19 weather team is Savannah Hale. She explains why Texas is such a hotbed for big chunks of ice.
Hey East Texas, I'm Savannah Hale, and with severe weather season approaching, I just want to talk real quick about hail and how it forms. So, what we've got here is a thunderstorm. In our thunderstorms, we have updrafts. Now, hail starts as a frozen water droplet that's swept up above the freezing level. Each time it goes up and down above the freezing level, you can see it builds up an additional layer of ice. Now, once it eventually gets too big that the updrafts can't support it, it will fall out of the storm and to the ground. So the stronger the updraft is and the bigger the thunderstorm, the bigger our hail can get also. There can be some really strong thunderstorms with some really strong updrafts that produce some really big hail as well. So when we're talking about hail sizes, once it falls out of the storm, there's many different common names you've probably heard before. Now, you see this that says severe levels? What this means is that when it's above a quarter in size or 1 inch in diameter, that means that our thunderstorm can now be classified as a severe thunderstorm. So although it's uncommon to see quarter or golf ball sized hail, it can get up to tennis ball, softball, and even grapefruit sized. That's exceptionally rare, but it still can happen. Now, if you get hail, once it's safe to go outside, when you want to take a picture and send it in, put the hailstone next to one of these common household items. That way it's easier for your weather team to determine how big the size was. Although you want to hold it in your hand, it's better if we can see it next to one of these because they have universal sizes. So there you go. And next time there's a hailstorm, you'll know how it forms and how to be prepared for it.
CBS 19 Extreme East Texas Spring into Action is sponsored by Stonewater Roofing.